Hi there, gorgeous, and a very happy Drugstore December to you. If you've not heard, every video coming out this entire month is drugstore themed. So if you'd like to be notified of new videos like this one all month long, please subscribe, and thank you if you do. Today I'm sharing the worst drugstore makeup finds that I discovered over the past year. Now this is not a long list. I had expected it to be when I first started putting it together, but I really only have about 9 to 10 products to share with you in total today. So not a lot of bad stuff discovered this past year, but my best drugstore makeup video will be coming out on Wednesday this week, and that list is much longer by comparison. So if you're looking for the best, that video will be publishing in a couple of days, and if you're watching this in the future, I will have it linked for you below. Now, keep in mind, these are my opinions with these products, my experiences. Everyone's opinion is going to be different. All of us have different complexions, different results when it comes to makeup. That's why there's so much makeup out there. So take my opinions with a grain of salt. First worst product that I discovered this past year was Maybelline's Superstay powder. Now, this is one that I feel like was marketed as a foundation, a product that you could use all by itself without having to apply anything beforehand. And products like this became very attractive to me, especially this past year, being pregnant, living in Florida, etc. I was looking for something that was very simple, easy to use, and that would last all day. Sadly, this was not it. The problem was it didn't last that long on me personally, and every time I wore it, didn't matter if it was just by itself or over a foundation, it would not hold up. It slid around my face, and by the end of the day, I just looked like a hot mess. So this was one that I just did not like personally. The second one was also another one of those powder foundations that promises to wear well throughout the day, and that was the one from the J-Cat Beauty line, and that was their Aquasurance powder. Again, very similar to the Maybelline powder. Didn't last that long, and it started sliding around my face. It looked really terrible by the end of the day. Did not wear well at all, unfortunately. This past year, Makeup Revolution, or I should say Revolution Beauty, because they changed their name. I'm not really sure when they changed their name, but they did. Came out with an entire line of skincare products, and I was excited to try these. So I devoted about a month's worth of testing to trying out all of the new skincare products that they came out with, and I was so underwhelmed and did not see results. I actually had the opposite experience with these products, and my skin would flare up. I got a lot of redness that erupted after using some of these products, and from what a lot of you were telling me too, after I had mentioned it in a video this past year, the ingredients are not that great in these skincare products. So while it's an affordable line, I don't feel like there's any real beneficial use to having them on your face. So I would say skip them. Check out, I think it was Origins line. A lot of people were saying Origins was much better than Makeup Revolution, but still at the same price point. Very affordable. So I haven't tried them personally, but I wanted to put that out there. Eyeshadow palettes. There were about 3 different ones. Well, I shouldn't say 3. There's actually 7. 7 different eyeshadow palettes this past year that were really, really disappointing to me, and I did not like them one bit. First 2 came from Rimmel's line, and those were the Rainbow and Thunder palettes. I had really high expectations for these based off of my experiences with the Crimson and the Heat palette, which I thought were excellent, by the way, but these really disappointed me in terms of pigment. They did not have color payoff to them. While they look extremely vibrant in the pan, it doesn't translate from pan to eye, and you lose a lot of that color. It's not what you expect at all. And even when you do get some of the product onto your eyes, it doesn't wear well either. It fades so quickly. I mean, I think I had these palettes on my eyes for a matter of 4 hours, and the eyeshadow started muddying and lightening. Just was not a good experience, so don't recommend these to you. The other ones that I had mentioned came from the Revolution Beauty line, and those were their donut eyeshadow palettes. And while they're really cute in design, the eyeshadows inside were of really crummy quality. They were horrible. Usually I love Revolution Beauty eyeshadows, and I have a number of palettes from them that are go-tos for me, but for some reason The formula in these little donut palettes was not comparable to what they put out usually, and it was such a hard eyeshadow to work with. They just no pigment to them. They didn't apply evenly. The texture was off. They weren't smooth. A really bad experience with these. And actually, I ended up giving them to Jet. I have a little basket of makeup that I don't want, or stuff that I know that's I'm not going to be using in the future. So I put the makeup that I have like that in this little basket for him so he can play with it. And the donuts were one of those products that I had put in the basket for him to play with, because he loved that little donut, and every time he'd pick it up he would act like he was eating it. It's really cute. Anyway, one day I was sitting here in the studio working one night, and he came in here to be with me, and it got really quiet all of a sudden in the corner of the room, and I look over there and he had literally dug into the eyeshadow. He had it all over himself. Now keep in mind, these were clean pajamas. He was ready for bed at this point, so needless to say, he needed another bath after that. It was really cute. It was something I will never ever regret. He had a great time, and that's all that matters. Another product that really disappointed me this past year was from NYX, and that was their Fill and Fluff Eyebrow Pencil. There were a number of different qualities that disappointed me about this pencil. First one being the color. The shade that I used was auburn, and I felt like the auburn shade was much too red and unnatural looking on my complexion against my hair color, etc. So that's a personal thing for me, but I didn't really care for that aspect of the pencil. The problem is that they decided to be innovative, which is not a bad thing, and they put a little paddle brush of sorts on the end in place of a spoolie to brush the product through your brows. Now in theory, it looks like it's going to be a good idea, but once you start using it, you see that it's flawed, and you kind of wish that there were a spoolie back on the pencil again. All this did was move the product around the brows. It didn't really help to blend anything in evenly, and I found it to be more troublesome than not. So for those reasons, this was one that I got so frustrated by it, I literally threw it away. It was one of those products that just, it was just bad all the way around. Now, these next two products were ones I did not throw away, but I did return to the store because they really were that bad, and they made me not ever want to try any other products from this brand in terms of face products again. And that award goes to Morphe. The Morphe foundation and the Morphe concealer that came out this past year. Absolutely awful, awful, awful. The foundation would not blend into the skin. It sat on top. It looked very uneven, extremely patchy, and it made me feel like I was wearing a mask. There was a noticeable difference between my neck and my face in terms of texture, not color, because you could blend it in and get the color to match, but the texture made it very obvious that I was wearing a foundation. It was not natural looking on the skin at all. And after wearing this one, which I could not believe that I actually wore the foundation all day long, but I did, and it was just terrible, 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 terrible. And I remember when I returned the foundation to Ulta, there were two women at the checkout area, and when I took it back, they said, "Oh my gosh, this stuff was terrible. You wouldn't believe how many returns we've had on this." And it just solidified for me that, okay, I'm not going crazy here, because sometimes when you return a product, someone will tell you how great it was, and you think, aw. But no, everybody I talked to about this foundation said it was awful stuff. Awful. So if you did not try it, just be thankful. And if you did try it and it worked for you, that's great. But like I said, everyone's experience is going to be different. Same thing with the concealer. It didn't blend underneath the eyes. Same like the foundation. I had trouble getting it to appear even, and it wore horribly. It creased, fell apart, and just looked like a hot mess underneath my eyes. So yeah, I won't be looking to this brand again when it comes to face products, personally. The last worst drugstore makeup product that I tested out this past year has to be the Eyelure Magnetic Lash Kit. I really wanted this one to work. I know a lot of you think that I'm biased when I review lash products based on me having my own lash line, but please know that I do keep an open mind when it comes to all products, regardless of if I have my own lash brand, because I'm not going to diminish another company to lift up my own. That's not who I am. And if a product is great and it is a competing lash brand, I will say it. I have no problem saying it. And I really wanted this product to work. I did, but it did not. The problem that I had with it was that the liner broke apart, fell apart, looked horrible at the end of the day. So while it did work, the liner itself was just of poor quality. I feel like they need to go back and fix the formula with the liner. If they got it to where it would last all day, not crack and fall apart, then it could be a really great product. But unfortunately, that's what happened. Like I said though, I am still waiting on somebody to perfect that, because they will. Eventually, one of these drugstore companies will perfect a magnetic lash system that will actually have an excellent eyeliner that will not fall apart. We just have to give them time. And I did test a few of them for my brand, but the formula is not exactly where I want it. And ever since having my son and everything else that's been going on, I really haven't had time to devote to getting more samples and testing and all that. So hopefully I can get back into that in the new year. But anyway, I'm still waiting on a drugstore company to perfect this. If you are interested in any of the products that I shared with you here today, I will not have any of them linked for you below because they are terrible and I do not want you to waste your money on them. Sorry, I don't. But if you are interested in referencing them in the future, I will have them listed for you below. I want to say thank you so much for being here, for taking the time to watch. Feel free to share your worst makeup discoveries from this past year. And again, the best of the best of the best from 2019 will be posted on Wednesday. Thank you again for being here, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow for another video in Drugstore December.